Hi guys, it's Mahja from Mahdi's Little Naughty Corner, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a cutesy makeup look with influence from Korean beauty trends, and I'll be asking you a little questions and easing your misconceptions about the Ddlg community, as well as some questions you guys want to know just about the blog. And as you can see, I have a lot of friends here. I'm not going to name all of them because we'll be here forever, but they're here for moral support and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I think it's super important to understand how vital your skincare is. So you have to have a good under canvas to make your makeup stick up well. So we're starting basic with just some moisturizer by Eucerin. It has some SPF in it to keep you all nice and safe from the sun's harsh rays. So I'm just going to be applying that to my entire face. And then your lips need to be all moisturized. Look at me being a brand ambassador. This is purely and proudly South African, and it's just gonna get your lips all nice and soft. And then generally you can do foundation first, but I hate to because the fallout on your face is just crazy. So we're gonna start with eyes first. This is the MAC concealer palette. It's in medium, so I use this as like an eyeshadow base because I'm too cheap to go buy a 400 rand pot made.
Why are dominants called daddies?
Okay, so it's because of the specificity in this kink. So as I said, Ddlg is an under term for the BDSM community. So you can use the term, well, many terms for your dominant. So sir, master, but because of the cutesy nature, the kid-like nature, daddy is like an approachable figure that loves you and cares for you. So that's why it's daddy, but it's not pedophilic. Like, you have no intention to be with your father whatsoever. It's a term of endearment and nothing weird and incest-like at all.
When was the first time you realized or felt the kink?
So I was in grade 10, and at that time everyone was like using the term, oh, who's your daddy, like, you know. And when everyone said that and like a boy said it to me, it made me feel like kind of weird, like, why is this interesting me if it's just what people are saying? And then I started googling and I was like, why do people, like, why is it interesting me basically? And then I came across a WordPress blog about a little explaining the rules, the regulations and everything Ddlg, and then I was just into it and I kept researching. And then as I got older, I was more intrigued by the psychology behind Ddlg, not the actual kink. So I'm just putting the concealer all over my eyes, and because I have hectic brows as it is, I'm going to shape my brow so that I won't have to do much to it after.
Why are submissives called littles?
It's the same concept with the whole daddy question. It's specific to the kink, and we're not always only called littles. It's any term of endearment that you could use for a kid. So little girl, princess, little one, baby girl, that's just basically the term that's stuck, and that's what the kink was called. So now we're gonna start on actual pigment on my eye, and this is our reference photo. Super cute, and we'll add a little bit of our own elements just to make it specific to Mahdis corner. So I'm going to be alternating between two eyeshadow palettes, the NYX Ultimates. It looks super messy because who has time when you have 6 assignments, and the James Charles Morphe palette as well. So pretty. It looks literally like a paint palette, and we're going to be alternating between the two of them, but don't worry, I will be here to guide you. So I'm going to, well, I like blending brushes more than precision brushes. I know it's not always the correct method, so I'm going to be using this more dense like blending brush, and then a fluffy blending brush to just even out rough edges throughout the look. So the first thing I'm going to do is take that fluffy brush, the not super fluffy one, the half fluffy one, and tap off pigment, because as you can see with color shadows, they usually have a lot of fallout to make sure that you have pigment. So I'm just using this pink shade over here, coating my brush completely, and then I am going to just like, dab it, and like introduce it just below, like on my lid, up till my crease. And due to the high pigment of these shades, like to get full impact, you have to continuously go back in to get what you want. As you can see, as you keep building the layers, the pigment just intensifies. And on this eye, I can notice that like a solid line starting to form, so I'm just gonna blend that out with the fluffy brush I introduced before. And makeup is about symmetry, so when you do something on one side, you do it on the other side. And then sometimes you notice when you blend, you lose pigment, and that is totally normal. So you just have to keep adding back. It's like literally a layering process. So you just add and blend until you're happy with the pigment you've created. My brushes are shedding. Now that I'm happy with that pigment, I'm going to add some depth to the outer corner of my eye. It will kind of just open my eye up a little bit and increase the intensity without making it look like just a pop of color, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to increase with a pink, I'm going to go more to the reddy brown side, and we'll see the impact it makes. I'm using the James Charles red as well as the NYX red. Same with that more precise brush. And then just blend it out. And also with our shape of our shadow, we're not going anything angled. We want to keep it round and cutie and girly. We don't want a snatched look today.
Oh, sorry. I feel like a weirdo talking to myself. I don't know how YouTubers do this. Practice. I'm the next beauty queen I'm talking. But you're doing really well.
So you prefer to be more submissive, right?
That's the thing though. Like, I am a control freak. Like seriously, everything needs to be in my control. My life, people even in my life, but the people that are in my life, it's done in a healthy way. Don't worry, I'm not the psycho. And like psychologically, if you look at it, when people are in so much control, they can actually reach a point of psychosis, which I've reached. And being little allows space for me to become submissive, to control that control. So it's kind of like a pendulum. So I'm extreme control freak and then extreme submissive, and that middle ground is the space in which I switch from being a fully grown adult to a kid, and it kind of just gives me a space where I don't have to worry about anything. And it takes practice to get into that space, and it took about 4 years. And it basically keeps me sane by being submissive due to the fact that I'm so controlled in every aspect of my life. That's it for shadow. We'll come back to eyes at a later stage. Now skin. As kids, they have a really flawless skin. They don't have the troubles of acne or puberty for that case. And as I spoke about Korean beauty trends, they really they enjoy like glass soft skin. So that's what we're going to work towards right now. So I know I already put on moisturizer, but just to make sure that I'm super oiled up, I am going to put on another layer right now. And this is just going to act as like a hue that comes from within the skin. A hack, guys. Setting spray is so expensive, and I go through like a bottle every 3 weeks because I love just whooing it everywhere. Get rose water and put it in a spraying bottle, and it literally does the exact same thing. So that's what we're gonna do. Whew! You don't need to bath. You're clean now. Just let that marinate for a bit like you are a piece of meat. Okay. So, because we're moving from winter to summer, I change drastically in color, and I'm mixing two foundations, both drugstore, both super great and super reasonable. Got my LA Girl Pro Coverage Conceal, and this is something I've tried recently. It's the Maybelline Superstay, and the shades are pretty similar, but one's just a bit warmer because I have a cool undertone, but I have warmth in the areas of pigment. So that basically means that if I put a cool foundation on, I will ash around my mouth and on my forehead. So I have to warm it up first. Is our MAC concealer palette in dark, and as you can see over here, there's this hectic orange shade. I use that for color correcting. I know it's a bit drastic, but what are you if you aren't drastic? So I'm going to place this orange in all the areas where I would ash or turn grey because of my foundation shade. So it's under my eyes because your girl hasn't slept in 3 weeks. Okay, so now that we're looking like a crazy tribal woman, we are going to get our foundation going. Swollen, got you. Okay, so this is just a blender, not a beauty blender. I think I got it from Beauty Revolution. It was a really cool beauty festival at the Sandton Convention Center. I was privileged to be part of media for that event, and this was really cool. It was like, I'm not even sure the brand, but they had like really cool applicators and stuff like that. So I'm just using my hand. My makeup lecturer would not be happy right now. And then I'm using my other foundation, just 1 squirt each, because as I said, we don't want a cake face, we want something luminous and skin-like. And then there's excess product on my hand. I'm going to take my blender and dab it in so it's well coated. And then we're going to just push it into your skin gently.
How did it make you feel figuring it out that you were part of this community? Was it scary or confusing?
It was both scary and confusing because I literally thought, what the fuck is wrong with me? Am I like a weirdo delinquent that has some serious underlying issues? Because I love Sigmund Freud. He's the father of psychoanalytics. And I thought there's something like really wrong with me. And then also the fact that not many people talk about, especially girls. Like, girls are not by society, like now obviously we're moving forward, but sex isn't owned by girls. Like, we don't own ourselves and we don't own our weirdness because we want to be seen as normal, I guess. And this made me not normal. And the fact that in South Africa I haven't been exposed to a very big Ddlg community. Like, any online research I did or any Instagram pages I found was always in the US, and that made me think I'm even weirder, because like, if no one in South Africa can do it, why? And then this year, actually, with the start of this blog and when I started opening up about it, I found that so many people actually know about this kink, but they just don't talk about it. So it was scary and it was confusing, but now I feel like I'm giving people a platform to speak about what they actually like and who they actually are, because to a certain extent it forms part of your personality. So as you can see, under my eyes and around my mouth there is still a bit of orange, but we're going to fix that up right now with some concealer back to my light palette by MAC, and we are going to use it with this concealer. I'm sure, I just know it's NW15, so it's warmer, and that's going to also assist with our ashing problem. And when I blend my concealer, I'm going to clean up under, like, my shadow's gone a little bit under my lash line, and around my eyes I'm going to clean up with the concealer. Same beauty blender and pushing it into the skin. And then we're just going to take the leftover product of the concealer and dab around any parts that I feel are a bit orange. Right, now powder, Laura Mercier. It is translucent. I have this for a really long time. It's my favorite powder, and we don't get it anywhere in South Africa unless you get it like from those second-hand original makeup brands. And usually I would bake my face, so that means when you apply a lot of powder, let it set and then dust off. But because I want that luminosity to show through my skin, I'm just going to apply a little bit to set my concealer in place. and then I'm gonna dust some on my T-zone so we don't have shine over there, because that will just look sweaty and dirty and not luminous. Okay, next up we have contouring. Okay. Best ever, Hoola by Benifit. I have this for also a couple of years. As you can see, we've hit pan. And we are going to just take an angled fluffy brush and suck your cheeks in and make a kissy face. And where your natural contour forms, that's where you're going to place the product. And it's super important that you don't go below your cheekbone, because that will just make you look dirty. Ibi, do you want to know an interesting fact?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so I mentioned Korean beauty before multiple times, and it's strange because Korean beauty ideals are completely contradictory to the West. So in the West, we like sexy, voluptuous women, and with Asia, like Korea, Japan, they like the ideal of beautiful women are cute, girl-like, youthful women. So they don't want a full face of makeup, they want something glowy, they want doll-like faces. So that's what we're getting today.
Oh, interesting. If I'm new to being little, what essentials should I get? Example, dummies, etc.
I don't think you need anything to make you little, because as I said, it could be something as little as a word that could make you regress. But if you want to get into the kink, get things that make you specifically feel little. So if a dummy is gonna, and also something about age regression that's very important to understand is that people can regress to different ages. So for example, if you want to regress to the age of a 1 or 2 year old, those children wear nappies. So a form of your regression could be wearing diapers. My personal age regression age is between the ages of 4 and 7, so it's not completely baby and it's more of a bratty age, and that's what I play into. So for me personally, stuff like dummies, toys, stuffies, coloring books, that works, but it really just depends on your age, and look to what children of that actual age are using and then make it fit into what makes you feel comfy. As you can see, I'm not being shy with this blush, guys. Now we're gonna place blush where it's not usually placed, but it's going to feed into that cutesy look. I'm taking pink from the NYX palette I showed you previously on a smaller brush and placing it on the tip of my nose. And then I actually like this color a lot, so I'm going to just place my blending brush and give myself a contour with some more blush. Okay guys, so we're back to these bushes, caterpillars on my face. We're just taking that dark color powder and brushing up into the eyebrow. And then as you can see, between the blush and the highlight there's like a bit of a harsh line, so I just want to smooth that out. And then once again, to intensify this already very intense glow, just an angle brush, dabbing into, tap off. Next we're gonna line my lips with this MAC lip pencil in the color Spice. It's like a nice pinky, neutral, brownish, pinkish color. So I'm gonna overline slightly just to give myself more plumpness.
Are you allowed to be a little and a daddy?
Yes, that was a good question. You could be. So people who take on the role of both being submissive and dominant are called switches, and the Ddlg kink isn't sexist. So you get something called mommy dom little boy. So that's when a woman takes the role of being the mummy and the boy is the submissive person, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And as I said before, my personality is dominant, but when I switch I'm submissive. So in terms, I'm kind of the daddy in real life, and then I'm submissive in sweet when I switch. Eyes, I was going to put on a pair of lashes, but I want to keep this cutesy girl look going. So we're going to use our trusty Maybelline Rocket Mascara, also drugstore, also super effective. Highlighter in the inner corner to open up the eye some more. And for a final touch, our trusty rose water all over the face. Okay, I'm done.
You're glowing in the dark.